I was standing there, both hands clutching my headband. My lacy socks were itching my ankles. My Sunday shoes were too tight. My curled underbangs kept on getting my eyes, and I was absolutely certain this day could not get any worse. My mom told me to go get my own napkin from the napkin lady. My 6-year-old body had been relying on other people to talk for me for years. My parents, my sisters, and sometimes if things got really bad, even my brothers would talk for me. But today was the day the world was ending. I had to go get my own napkin. We were at some social event with my grandma. It was important enough for them to make commemorative napkins, but it wasn't important enough for me to have any idea what was going on. All I knew was that I was wearing my Sunday clothes, not on a Sunday. My emotional response to strangers during this time was intense. My shoulders would figure out how to freeze and shake at the same time. My hands would clench up into frightened little fists. I would bite my tongue and not breathe. And I would get a little ball in the back of my throat. The longer the exposure to strangers, the bigger the ball would grow. The napkin lady was huge. At least 3 times as tall as me. Maybe 100 times, I'm not sure. I was 6. Her smile and gentle demeanor did nothing to assuage me of the certainty that I would not get what I needed the most, which was a napkin. On any other day, I would have been completely content just sitting in my chair, eating my yummy cake, maybe playing outside, but I had just gotten a brand new scrapbook, a beautiful scrapbook, and there was nothing else I needed other than to put a commemorative napkin into my scrapbook, but I could not speak with strangers. I looked up at the napkin lady. I had to look down. I kept my eye on the prize, the napkin pile. The event was almost over. The napkin pile was getting shorter. In the not too far distant, a group of children were walking up to the table. My time was running short. In a moment of pure bravery, I skid in front of the children, completely cutting them off. I land in a heroic stance, my feet wide spread, my arm pointing up, my finger pointing at the napkins, and I couldn't speak. But I could squeak, and it must have sounded enough like a please because the napkin lady responded accordingly. She takes the napkin, and as it's coming down to me, I swear it's backlit with golden light, and I do not know if the napkin lady said anything, but to this day, I am certain there were angels singing somewhere. As soon as the napkin lands in my hand, I fly back to my mother. It's a good thing her lap was empty. I grab her around the head with both arms and I yell into her face, "Ah!" It wasn't a real word, but it somehow encompassed all of the emotion escaping my tiny body. I had just completed the most impossible task and returned back to safety. The napkin was mine. My mom somehow rights herself. She looks at the napkin in my hand and pats my back gently, and she says, "Oh, sweetie, you went and got your own napkin." Ladies and gentlemen, that's when I knew my life was complete. Thank you.